how's that pulling me backwards, even though all my brakes are applied? Uh-oh. This is trouble. Hey guys, today we're going to try to deliver a heavy train from the food factory to Harbour Town. But as you'll see, things don't exactly go according to plan. We're going to start off today by attempting to fill up the tanks of our DH3 locomotive with some diesel. Last episode I thought that the tanks were full, but I since was informed that we weren't in the correct position for the maintenance bay in order to be able to fill up the tanks. So we're going to rectify that now, and we're going to just advance forward to the point where we can actually begin to fill up our tanks. Let's make sure that we've got a full load for today's ascent up the hill. Let's see if we can make the grade in trying to go from the food factory to Harbour Town. Okay, we'll stop the engine. Now we'll grab our fuel pipe and connect it into the inlet valve here. Okay, we can see it's ready now, and yes, we were able to put some fuel in, but it didn't require very much. So, not used a great deal in our last episode. Now the tanks are full, let's just put the fuel hose back into the Bowser. And let's head on off to the station house or station building so that we can have a look at the job that we're going to be picking up for today's run. And we know we want to depart the food factory in a northerly direction, so I'm going to be turning the DH3 around at the turntable in order so that we can travel forward first. Okay, let's swing her around. Lined up, off we go. It's quite important to watch the various gauges for things like oil temperature and so on with the DH3, and that's why I wanted to make sure that as we were tackling the ascent, that we were travelling forward first so that we would have a good view of the gauges as we were climbing up the mountain. Pass through Shunting Area C on the way to the station building, where we'll be picking up our job for the day. It's super dark here tonight. A little hard to see outside of the scope of the headlights and any of the lamps that are about, any detail, but it really does look quite spectacular. If I'm not mistaken, and I probably am not because I had a look beforehand, the train that we're going to be picking up is the one located on C4I, which is the track or siding to the right of where we are now. So we'll be in a good position to pick it up and get going pretty quickly. A reasonably long train, I think about 10 carriages if I remember correctly. Okay, off to the station building. Let's pick up the job and quickly get underway once we've got it, so that we can maximise our opportunities of getting a nice bonus at the end of this particular run. Okay, that's the one we want. We want to deliver some cat food to the harbour town. And that's quite necessary because I've got some very hungry cats right here at home. Two, 4, 6, 8. I think that was 10 carriages. Okay, let's get going. We'll run over and couple up. Starting to drizzle a little bit here. Always makes things a bit challenging when there's a wet track to contend with. We do have sand, of course, to give us some extra grip, but there's only limited supply, so hopefully we've got enough. Time to couple up. We've become quite skilled at this, even if I say so myself these days. The former problem that I was having connecting the air hoses is now a thing of the past. Let's remember to take the handbrake off. Now we're good to go. Seeing that we've got a bit of rain coming down, we'll put our wipers on. Engage the low gear to start with. But the DH3 is quite a powerful shunting locomotive and should be able to pull these quite easily. And in fact, as we can see, starting off proves to be no problem at all. we want to make sure that we change gears before the tachometer approaches the 100 mark there. And at the same time we have to make sure that our oil temperature remains reasonably cool. Otherwise we need to throttle down and give it a chance to cool down. So going north out of the food factory, already we're seeing a bit of a grade, and we're doing alright though. We're around about 20 kilometres an hour and seem to have plenty of traction. Speed limit here of 30 kilometres an hour, so we're sort of well within that. Things looking promising so far. Crunch in the transmission there, and that's simply because I didn't allow the revs to drop sufficiently before I changed into the next gear. There's no clutch in the DH3, so you have to rely on the revs of the engine to be able to sink the gears well. Uh-oh. Starting to feel a bit of a drag already. Had to change down now. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty slow journey up the hill. We've already got a little bit of oil slip. Let's apply some sand. The thing that worries me about the sand is it's a pretty limited supply, so to have to use it already, it's not a good sign. And as we can see looking out the window there, the rain is not getting any easier. Still, we seem to be able to maintain traction whilst the sand supply is flowing. DH3 does allow us to control the rate at which we're applying the sand rather than it just being an on-off situation like the DE2 or BE2, whichever it is. So looks like I still need the sand, but I'm trying to keep it at a minimum of use. I'd much rather be doing this ascent in daylight. It would make things a lot easier, and certainly a lot easier without the rain. Seems like we're picking up a little bit of speed now, so that's promising. Bit of oil slip, apply some more sand. Still have a reasonable reserve of sand left, but by gee, we're going to be starting to go through it pretty quickly at this rate. Try changing up a gear here and just see if maybe at lower revolutions we get less wheel slip, but that doesn't seem to be the case. This is not looking good. Raining harder and harder. If I can get into the tunnel, we'll have some dry tracks in there, maybe that'll help with our traction. Definitely struggling though. Lots of wheel slip. As we can see, the oil temperature is getting dangerously high as well, which means that I will have to drop my throttle a bit shortly. Crunching through the gears, trying to find a good balance here. Okay, a little bit of power coming back. This is pretty good. So far the oil temperature is staying down to a reasonable level. Our tachometer shows that we're doing constant revolutions. Our speed, we're not going to set any speed records here, but you know, we're doing okay considering the grade that we're climbing up. Things are looking promising. I guess that's for as long as our sand holds out. That's the thing that worries me. If we start getting low on sand and we start losing grip, then it might be all she wrote. Temperature rising. So we just struggle with the throttle, try to find a happy medium. I kind of hoped we would have already reached the summit by now. But at this stage it doesn't look to be anywhere near. The rain is getting heavier. $480 tons, I believe the current train is. I think that should be doable in the DH3, DM3. just let me keep the sand flowing, but we're getting low on our reserves now. I'm in a low gear. I'm just not getting any traction at all. Come on, let's go. Oh no. We're starting to slip backwards. I know we're not. And now we've cut out. Okay. I think we're going to give this another try, guys. So I don't do this very often, but decided I'd restore from a previous save point because I really want to make this delivery from Food Factory to Harbour Town. Decided to skip through a lot of the preliminaries so that we could get right down to action. However, it was kind of at this point that I realised that I'd forgotten to turn the locomotive around. So the DM3 would be facing in the wrong direction when I tried to do this particular ascent. And so we try for attempt number 3. So once again, we're going to advance a little bit through the preliminaries so that we can more quickly get to the stage where we get to the meat and potatoes of the exercise, where we try to tackle the hill once again with that heavy load in the DM3. But this time, unlike our last attempt, I'm going to remember to turn the DM3 around so we're facing in the correct direction for our climb uphill. This is kind of like deja vu as we spin around and again get to the station building as quickly as possible so that we can pick up our job and begin the ascent anew. trying to go a little bit faster this time, so hopefully we can get partially up the hill before that rain affects us too much. Let's jump out and go and get our orders. There we are. Familiar by now. Let's get back into the cab and go and couple up once more. This all feels like familiar territory by now. But let's get going. And this time we're going to try to hit that ascent at a decent speed, and hopefully before the rain is affecting us too much. And maybe, just maybe, we've got enough momentum to carry us up the hill. A little bit faster this time, which is a good thing, and so far we're able to keep the revs up high, and we're not exceeding the oil temperature, and no wheel slip, so things are looking good. About this stage we really start slowing down and struggling to get up the incline. Dropping back through the gears again. Gosh, I don't know if I'm going all that much faster this time around either, you know. Oil temperature creeping up once more. And tachometer revolutions are decreasing, so both of those are not good signs. Drop down a gear and see if we can't pick up a little bit of speed. Don't want to sound too optimistic, but we seem to be picking up a little bit of traction here compared to our previous attempt. And of course no rain thus far. So we haven't had to use any of our sand as well, which is a darn good sign. But we are slowing down. We're really struggling up this particular section, and that oil temperature is hovering around the area where we need to start considering reducing our throttle to allow the temperature to decrease. But it's not yet at that stage. I think we're managing it fairly well at the moment. Here's the tunnel where I had problems the first time around. As you can see though, our speed has really decreased. I can only guess that the gradient here is pretty steep. I'm not sure which route is going to have the less gradients involved. I really should have referred to a gradient map before I made this trip. We are slowly approaching the end of the tunnel. No wheel slip yet. Still 100% of our sand available. I think, yeah, I can see that rain is starting to come down. It's only gentle at the moment, and we are picking up a little bit of speed. Perhaps we have enough momentum now. Again, we're starting to struggle. This seems to be one of the steepest parts of the climb. Our revs are decreasing. Our oil temperature is increasing. Both of those are bad signs. We're going to have to drop a gear very shortly. And with the wet rails, whether we have sufficient traction even with sand remains to be seen. So fast, slow and steady seems to be winning the race. But I'm concerned about this rain. Okay, I think, yeah, time to apply a little bit of sand. We're really struggling now. That extra bit of grip might allow us to get all the way through. Oops, I should not have stopped the sand from flowing. Very difficult once you start losing momentum, like I have now, to get going again. Pouring sand out really fast, but I'm not going anywhere. Slowly creeping forward. I'm really concerned about trying to keep the reserve of sand as long as possible. We are moving, as you can see, but it's extremely slowly. Meantime, that sand is pouring out. So we do seem to be picking up a little bit of speed now. So maybe, as long as we can keep traction and some sand in reserve, I think we could possibly I'm not so sure. This is really starting to look a bit grim. Although this is not too bad. Managed to change up a gear. I'm just not sure where the apex is here. If we get to that soon, we should be okay. Come on, you can do it. Let's go. So that rain is starting to increase once more. Approaching a tunnel, so maybe we can conserve a bit of sand use now. Yeah, we seem to be gaining a bit of speed. Really starting to drag now. Losing traction. And now I think we've stalled. Yep, we're starting to get dragged backwards again. Even with full sand now. Not sure if we're going to be able to get going. Now, I know in theory we're supposed to go back to a flat and take another run at it, but it's such a long distance. Whoops. Even with our brakes on, we're being dragged back. Why would that be? Our sand is depleting rapidly. You know, I'm thinking that maybe if we can't pull the full train in one go, maybe we can uncouple half of it, pull up the balance, get it to a siding, and then come back and get the rest. Maybe we can divide and conquer. That might be the way to do it. Okay, let's go and set the brakes on the last half of the car and uncouple. So if we can't take 4 or 5 of these up the hill and then come back for the rest later. More than one way to skin a cat. Okay, handbrake on. A little hard to see. But we're able to get rid of the air hoses, turn off the brake pipes, and disconnect. And now we've got just a few cars that we need to pull up the hill. Surely that's possible. Okay. I don't know how much sand I've got left. I think I'm pretty low. But as long as I can get a start, I think we should be okay. Wait on though. Why am I being dragged back even though I've got all my brakes on? I mean, that shouldn't be possible. My brakes are fully applied. And I'm going backwards. Okay. And I just can't seem to get any grip, even with half of the train. Not possible. Yeah. Full brakes, sliding backwards. I don't understand that. That means I'm also pushing that last half of the train where I've already applied the handbrake. How steep is this gradient? Let's give it another try. So the full train was 480 tonnes. Now I've divided into a half. Here we are, we're starting to make a move now. 240 tonnes, we should be able to pull up the hill shortly. But we are consuming our sand at a pretty massive rate. And I'm barely able to get any forward movement. No, I'm slipping back again. It's only with 5 cars. What to do? Try again. I mean, I think this should be possible. Again, I'm just not getting any traction at all. And yet the rain seems to have eased a fair bit too. The rails would still be wet, but I don't know. Okay, well, if we can't do 5 cars, maybe we can uncouple with some more and do it in 3 steps, but seriously, it's going to be very, very difficult to try to do this in any amount of time. Oh, maybe. We have a little bit of movement now. Maybe we're getting some headway after all. Maybe we can conquer this hill 1 kilometre at a time. But we can see the sand is almost depleted. The light is flashing above the sand level indicator. And I'm afraid without sand it's going to be very, very difficult to accomplish. Okay, let's go and uncouple a few more cars. And get going. I'm sure this is not classic rail operations, but this is Derail Valley. And you got to do what you got to do. So I'm going to try with 3 carriages. Surely 3 cars should allow me to get up the hill, come back, pick up another few, come back, pick up the remaining ones. That's the idea anyhow. Let's see if it works. Okay, let's get going. Looks like I'm entirely out of sand though. Don't want to start off in too low a gear because I'm worried that the wheels will slip. If we can start in a low gear, low revolutions, perhaps we've got a chance. Come on. Well, brakes are fully applied, and even with 3 carriages, I'm slipping backwards. How can that be? hear me just slipping down the hill. Brakes are locked. And I'm just sliding down and I'm going faster and faster. Makes no sense to me. I mean, how can all my brakes be on and yet I'm still sliding down the downhill? I've got handbrakes on multiple carriages. I've got train brakes applied. I've got the independent brakes applied. And I'm still sliding down. Well, I don't think this is going to work. So, alright, plan B. There is another way to Harbour Town, and that's by going south out of the food factory rather than north, which is the way that I've been trying. So, look, I'm not going to give up just yet. Let's see if we can couple these things up once more. And we'll head off back down the hill. Uh-oh. Oh no. Even though all my brakes are on, I'm still sliding backwards. Let's try applying this brake as well. See if we can't couple these ones up. Anyhow, so yeah, the plan is to go all the way back now to the food factory. Run the engine around the other end of the train. Probably reverse it at the turntable once more. Couple to the other end of the train. And try to head to the harbour town by heading out south instead of north. Because it certainly seems that this way is not going to be successful for us. I mean, the rain is pretty well stopped, as you can see. We're still unable to ascend the mountain, even with only 3 carriages. So what would that be? About 100 ton or something like that. Without sand, almost impossible. Oh no. Apply the brake to this one. Run the train back. Get it close to where we can couple up again, because we're going to need to have our air brakes applied across the entire train if we're to attempt to keep any form of semblance of control on the descent. Okay, hopefully, oops, what am I doing down here? Hopefully we've run back far enough to be able to couple up to those remaining carriages. So what it first set out to be, I think 75-minute trip, has so far taken quite a long time. And yet we're not even half of the way there. Okay, at least we're close enough to couple these carriages back together again. Kind of weird we're not rolling backwards now. Anyhow. Okay. So let's go back and try to execute plan B. At least the sun's coming up. You can see where we're going. Yeah, I thought I'd just give it one more try going forwards. That is not going to work. We're out of sand. We're out of luck. Okay, we need to put our gear into reverse. BM3 doesn't like going backwards when the gear is got forward gear selected. Well, it's certainly easy enough going downhill. Long train. We are going to need to try to control our speed going downhill too, because if it gets away on us, it very potentially could derail. Uh-oh, it looks like trouble. So applying the brakes caused the engine to cut out. Fortunately, I'm able to restart it again. I'm still in gear. Trying to use a little bit of gear braking here, but it doesn't seem to be too effective. Yet when I hit the train brakes, yeah, that's what happens. Fortunately, the brakes still seem to apply, even if we don't have the engine running. But yeah, we're going pretty quickly here. I think I need to go into top gear. It's seemingly quite dangerous at the moment. Yeah, I keep cutting out all the time, every time I apply the brakes. Ayo. Well, it's certainly a challenge and an adventure. I'm not looking forward to seeing my repair bill at the end of this though. I think I'm going to be up for a fair bit in wheel damage from all the wheel slipping that's happened, as well as probably transmission damage. Yeah. You know, it's weird. I'm just trying to apply a small amount of brakes. I believe they're called lap brakes, so we can apply a small amount of brakes and then just leave them applied at that. But still causing the engine to cut out. Very close to where we started from. And managed to stop successfully. Alright, so we're back to where we started from. This is siding S30. And yep, that's exactly where we commenced. And I think I'm going to need to push us somewhere else in order that we can successfully run around the train and try to do a departure out the south of the food factory. Let's commence our shunting for Plan B. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Okay, so we've got a bit more room here to leave our train and to run around it after we've rotated the engine at the turntable, so that we're again facing front forwards, but this time in a southerly direction. Okay, so we should just be able to take the track adjacent to where we left the train to head back towards the locomotive sheds and the turntable. Rotate our DM3 around so that the front is facing the southerly direction. And then we'll back up and couple to our train and see how we go getting to the harbour town, a different route than what we have been trying up until now unsuccessfully. Okay, let's stop here, change the points, head back to the loco sheds. Round we go one more time. Always a good idea to make sure we're lined up correctly, and we've gone forward at that stage. Would have been in a very unfortunate position. Okay, lined up. Let's go. Gotta make sure that we are going the right way here. You'd think I'd be familiar with all of these sidings and points, the right way to go these days, but still get it wrong. Okay, couple are up. Let's not forget to undo the handbrake at the other end as well. Alright, let's execute Plan B. Off we go. A harbour town. Let's just make sure that we've got our points set correctly. This time we'll be travelling out the south. Pretty well heading due south. Okay, that looks good to me. Let's go. It handles the weight so easily on the flat. It took off in fourth gear there. Limit 70, and we're doing all right. We're getting up towards 35, nearly 40 kilometers an hour now. But, don't recall it being hilly here. If I hadn't thought it would be hilly here, I would have picked up more sand while I was turning the locomotive, but I thought it was pretty well flat, straight out of the food factory heading south. But no, we're already struggling. Oh no. Oh, don't tell me. Wheel slip again. No sand. This is an all too familiar story by now. I don't know. I just don't know how I'm going to get this train out of the food factory. You know, some days things go entirely your own way. Everything looks good. Other times, I guess, you just have to accept the fact Derail Valley's going to get you. I think that although I'm not a quitter, I really don't see how this is going to work. So I think we're going to pack it in for today, put the train out of harm's way, and try it again another day, but perhaps with a different train, maybe something a bit lighter, because I'm just not getting this one to Harbour Town today. Can Grandpa make the grade? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Been a big fail, but it's been a learning experience. We're going to take that knowledge and we're going to try to improve upon this performance next time. So stick with me whilst we put these carriages away and park our DM3. And then in the meantime, whilst we're doing that, maybe you'd consider liking the video, leaving a comment, let me know how we could possibly achieve this in future. And of course subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, I'd appreciate that. Oh dear. I think I'm rattled now. Alright. Let's put this thing back where we got it from. Not block off all the sidings. Maybe next time we might try a lighter train. That might be the way to go. So don't worry. We're not going to call it defeat, we'll call it a temporary setback. Unfortunately though, I'm sure the maintenance fee on not only the engine but also the carriages is going to be pretty high. And that's probably going to set me back financially for a while. But hey, you don't make an omelette without breaking eggs, right? Alright, back to the locomotive shop one more time. I guess you can tell I'll be happy to get this over and done with today. Let's go and park our DM3 with its sister up here. Okay, that's it. Well, thanks guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Do please join us for our next Derail adventure, where perhaps we might try to conquer the mountain once more on Grandpa Playing Games.